You know, if you just glanced at the headlines across Europe this weekend, you'd think the sky was falling. And honestly, for some of the biggest football clubs in the world, it kind of is. We're not talking about your usual transfer rumors here. We're talking about full-blown crises. So let's get into it and break down what is really going on.
And this quote, man, it just nails the feeling right now. It really feels like we're on the edge of something huge. You've got a youth exodus brewing in Barcelona, a complete firestorm in Madrid. The very foundations of football's old guard, they're shaking.
So that brings us to the big question we're going to dig into. What actually happens when these giants, these clubs we think of as invincible, start to crack? We're about to see how all this pressure exposes some deep flaws in strategy, culture, and leadership.
All right, first up, let's head to Barcelona, where they're dealing with a pretty wild problem. They're winning, sure, but their own incredible success, the talent they're producing, it's actually starting to cost them some of their brightest stars for the future. Okay, get a load of this number. 6 million euros. In today's insane market, that's nothing. But that's the shockingly low release clause that let one of La Masia's top prospects, Jofre Fernandez, just get up and walk away from the club.
So how on earth did this happen? Well, when Fernandez signed his first professional contract at 16, Barca set this super low clause. They were basically betting that his loyalty to the club would keep him there until they could sign him to a huge new deal when he turned 18. It was a gamble on feelings over finance. And for a club like PSG, 6 million euros isn't a transfer fee. It's pocket change.
And look, this wasn't about the money. This was about ambition. The final straw for him was getting benched for a cup game against a weaker team, a game he thought he was going to start. In that moment, he just realized the path for him at Barca, it was gone. And of course, Paris Saint-Germain was just waiting with open arms. And if you want to see why he felt so blocked, just look at this. The irony is, it wasn't some big money foreign signing in his way. It was other kids from the academy who were just exploding onto the scene. You've got Lamine Yamal and Fermin Lopez putting up these kinds of numbers. They're undroppable. So Joffrey does the math and realizes my chance here might never, ever come.
But listen, if things are complicated in Barcelona, they are straight up apocalyptic in Madrid. The press is literally calling it a fire at the Bernabeu, and believe me, that's not a phrase they throw around lightly.
A team like this, a super team built for a dynasty, they do not drop 12 points before February. That's not a slump, that's a total collapse. The pressure is so intense now that fans are actually calling for Florentino Perez to resign. That is the ultimate sign that you are in a massive, massive crisis.
And right at the heart of all this chaos is a huge gamble. The manager, Álvaro Arbeloa, is thinking about benching Kylian Mbappé. The problem is, playing him and Vinicius Jr. at the same time has created this tactical nightmare on the field. So Arbeloa is betting that a more balanced team without Mbappé might actually be better. But man, if he gets that call wrong, his time at Madrid is over. Done.
Now, to be fair to the guy, he's basically trying to fix a broken-down car while half the engine parts are missing. Just look at this list. This isn't just a few players out. It's a catastrophic injury crisis. He's trying to patch a team together with duct tape while making the biggest tactical call of his life.
And of course, all this instability in Spain isn't just happening in a bubble. It's sending these huge shock waves across Europe, setting off a chain reaction of panicked moves from other clubs who are just scrambling to save their seasons.
Just look at this domino effect. It starts in South London. Crystal Palace is in free fall, so they're forced to sell off players. Their striker, Jean-Philippe Mateta, is suddenly on a plane to Juventus. And this isn't just a depth signing. Oh no, Juve is bringing him in to replace Dusan Vlahovic. It's a desperate move to just try and grind out results and get that all-important Champions League money. And this comparison just says it all about Italy right now. On one side, you've got Juventus and Roma in total chaos mode, frantically trying to fix things mid-season. And on the other side, you have their rivals, AC Milan, who are just this calm, well-oiled machine, unbeaten in 19 matches. They are the definition of stability in the middle of all this madness.
So, all of this brings us to Derby Day in Manchester, for what might be the starkest contrast of all. This is a story of two clubs going in completely opposite directions, and it shows that the real story isn't just about the score, it's about the health of the entire club culture.
I mean, just think about this for a second. The Manchester United manager's job, once the absolute pinnacle of the sport, is now seen as toxic. It's a career killer. The best coaches in the world are actively avoiding it. That tells you everything you need to know about the problems at Old Trafford.
But then you go just across town and you get a completely different story, and it's summed up perfectly by this incredible headline about one of Manchester City's key midfielders, Tijani Reinders.
It's an amazing story, really. As a teenager, right when he was about to turn pro, his parents made him get a job stocking shelves in a supermarket. They just wanted him to understand what real work was, to learn some responsibility. It's such a powerful contrast to the kind of culture we see so often in football.
And really, that's the big lesson from this chaotic weekend. You see all these clubs burning through cash and firing managers trying to find a quick fix, and then you see a story like Reinders, and it forces you to ask a pretty fundamental question. What really builds a dynasty? Is it just signing the next superstar? Or is it the grounded, stable culture that teaches a future champion the value of stocking shelves?